three reasons I would state. First of all, and the most important thing being, after I gave my GMAT, I did not want to feel that regret. Okay, I skipped some file, and that is the exact question that came. And had I reviewed that, I had gotten correct and I had scored higher. Who am I to challenge a computer when we have such a great review system where it tells you, okay, this you should do, this you should not do.
Right.
It's pretty easy. One of the things that helped me was going through the course meticulously. That ensured that I covered each topic. If you don't follow these basic and directly enter cementing, you will keep repeating those same mistakes even
Right.
after you keep reviewing those files. So it does not mean that you go to cementing, understand what your problem is, and then go back. It's actually the
Right.
other way around.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to another session with e-GMAT. And this time we have another successful student, Raghav Khandelwal. Raghav, welcome to this session. How are you doing?
I'm doing great. Hello, Drew. How are you?
I'm doing great as well. And let me say, what an amazing journey you've had. 7:30 in the first attempt. I'll ask you a very cliched question. How does it feel?
It feels great to be finally able to achieve what I dreamt of. I never thought, I only imagined 700 plus, but 730 is really nice. It feels good to be here.
I'm sure, I'm sure. So look, it was an absolute pleasure being a part of your journey. I've seen your journey from close quarters, right? And on the outside, your journey might look like a very smooth sailing, but on the inside, I think both of us know all the blips that you had in this journey, all the highs,
Sure.
all the lows, right? So we'll
Right.
dissect all of those highs and lows in this session, right? So
Yeah.
before we begin with your journey, I would want you to help all the viewers know a bit about your background as to where do you come from, your academic background, your professional background, and what made you start this GMAT journey.
It all started during COVID. I would give COVID. This was one of the best things that came out of it. I am a MBBS student. I've completed my MBBS and I'm right now doing internship at Naya Hospital, Mumbai.
Right.
Both my parents are doctors. During COVID, I was in my third year, pre-final year, and
Hmm.
there was nothing to do at home. Exams were getting postponed, and it was a time where all hospitals were working functionally, but they were working a little remotely. I
Right.
was always good with technology, so both my mom and my dad, they both told me, okay, you want to do something, you can please help us with our technological aspects here in the hospital. So I started
Right.
getting involved. I digitalized my mother's clinic. She's an endocrinologist. I also digitalized my father's clinic, who is a radiologist. During the whole process, somewhere I realized, okay, the doctors today, they are not so well connected with the technology that is existing. They can use this for so much of it,
Mm.
and that is where the process started. Okay, how can I do it, where can I go? And I started asking my seniors what can happen, and
Right.
they started giving me feedback. One of my senior, Dr. Nikhil Hegde, he's already done his MBA from IIM. He told me,
Okay.
okay, this is a very good path, you can definitely choose MBA. You'll learn how to manage things at a global level.
Hmm.
And there is where I began my journey. Okay, I have to do MBA. What should I do next? I first looked up to CAT. Then my mom and dad both supported me. Okay, if you're really doing it, why not go on a global
Mm.
scale? So
Absolutely.
I started thinking of GMAT. Okay, I should do GMAT. I should enter into the global competition. It will be better. And
Right.
from there, multiple seniors I came in contact with. One of them became a he referred me to e-GMAT. That e-GMAT is a very good website which would provide you very good courses and everything.
Okay.
And I just followed his advice and I logged in. I took the first trial. Okay, how was it? How are the modules? I loved
Right.
the way it was, and I entered into the journey. That is how I came to be.
All right. So you've already answered my question of how did you get to know about e-GMAT and how did
Yeah,
e-GMAT enter your life. Thanks to Dr. Nikhil, if I'm wrong,
yeah,
if I'm not wrong. Right.
yeah,
So you come from a doctor family and you helped your own parents digitalize their own clinic, right? So I'm sure that I think that is what must have uh, made you realize that you do possess some entrepreneurial skills, because entrepreneurship is not
right,
just about management, it's also about having some vision, trying to
right,
innovate, and that's what you did, right? Okay.
right.
So once you
I forgot
tell
to.
me, please.
There was something or another that happened in lockdown.
Hmm.
One of my friends and me, we both were sitting and brainstorming on how to do things benefit the local economy, and
Right.
somehow we ended up creating a startup called Rentster. It is not a
Okay.
very big startup, but yeah. So that place is also where I got inspiration that okay, I can enter the entrepreneurial business, I can enter the management
Hmm.
business, and learn how to do things.
Right. Right. So this is truly inspiration, because at such a young age, you're thinking about things which can help innovate the medical world, because you come
Right.
from an MBBS background. So that's something
Yeah.
which is really inspiration, I'm sure, for many who are from a similar background as you are, right? And that's why I asked this question about your background, right? So once you learned about e-GMAT, before you took up the trial, was there anything you did to know more about GMAT, or was it something like maybe you refer to some source material on the internet to learn more about GMAT or the sections,
Uh,
or how does it work?
For understanding what exactly GMAT consisted of and how exactly things were,
Hmm.
I googled it. I My usual strategy is instead of just going through the links, I switch to the images and I go
Okay,
through whatever images. From
right,
there, I clicked on link and followed. Initially, I could not find a good explanation, but that is how I came to on the GMAT club where
right,
e-GMAT had answered a few questions about GMAT, and I learned okay how the sections are and this. From there, that was the first contact where I came to know okay e-GMAT exists and there is
right.
such a company. Later on the next day, again I heard the name from my mentor, so I ended up signing. But yeah, one of the GMAT club and e-GMAT gave me most of the information
Hmm.
on how things are.
Right. So I'm sure you must have taken the first Sigma X mark, would have tried to understand what your starting ability was at that point of
Yeah,
time,
yeah.
right?
Yes, I wanted to make sure ki, okay, I set a realistic goal. So after I signed up in the first trial, I gave my first Sigma X mock to understand where do I stand, and I think I scored 620 in it with
Hmm.
V27 and Quant 48.
Right,
So as I was saying, I explored the internet, and it's via GMAT Club and e-GMAT I found resourceful information on how the sections are divided. Initially, it was a bit
right.
confusing. There was verbal, there was quant, then there was
Hmm.
IR, AWA. The most surprising thing I found was because as I logged on to e-GMAT, I could only find quant section and verbal section, and I was shocked where did the AW and IR go? I can't find it. Then I found a
Right,
solution on one of the forums of e-GMAT that okay, it's only quant and verbal that is good. It's not AW and IR. They're supplementary. Their score is also important, but
right,
their score do not count towards the final score. So I was like, okay, fine, then it's
right,
okay.
right. I remember speaking with you and also going through your entire course account. Uh, I was really happy to see that you had not skipped a single concept file. You went through the entire course with utmost diligence. Uh, what was the objective behind not skipping any file? Because many students, sometimes when they're aware of their own strengths and weaknesses, they make this decision of sometimes not going through the entire concept file for a very genuine reason. But I've seen you had a lot of ability in verbal and in quants, but you chose to go through everything that was recommended. What was the objective behind not skipping a single file? and being so diligent?
There are three reasons I would state. First of all, and the most important thing being, after I gave my GMAT, I did not want to feel that regret. Okay, I skipped some file, and that is the exact question that came. And had I reviewed that, I had gotten correct and I had scored higher. It
Right,
would have been such a bad feeling. I did not want that from day one, so that I could say that okay, this is my score. I gave my 100% in it, and this is my score.
right,
I have no regrets for it. That is the first thing. Second, being a doctor, I mean, it is a very common scenario that you go to a doctor, you ask so many questions, the doctor is saying
yeah,
something, but you put your own opinion.
right,
On the doctor's side, it is like, bro, I have studied for 4.5 years and almost specialization for 6 years. So it's a experience of 15 years that I'm telling you this is best and this is not.
right,
Why are you putting your brains into it? I did it. Exactly same things happen for other professions. If you are going through a course, you are sitting there, the computer is recommending me something. It has a basis for it. You have experience
right,
in it and you're telling me this is right. Why should I pick my brain and do so much of calculation? I will just go through the course, and I think that is
right,
the best thing anybody should do. And third thing, who
right,
am I to challenge a computer when we have such a great review system where it tells you, okay, this you should do, this you should not do. It's
right,
pretty easy.
right. So what I understand is you basically put all your faith in what the the course asked you to do, and of course the course was
Yeah,
created and was made by some really uh, expert expert people and professionals out there in their own
you're right.
fields. So I'm glad that you put in all the faith, and I think this attitude of not having any regrets in the end, I think this is something that is not just helpful in your GMAT prep, but I think it's something that helps you in every walk of life as well, right? You just give it your
Right.
all, and then it becomes easy to accept the outcome as well, right? Because at the end of
Yes,
the day, you did
because
everything that you
otherwise,
could.
yes, otherwise we keep making excuses. Okay, that day I was feeling too cold, so I could not perform. Oh,
Yeah,
I was not doing well, so it's okay. Life happens. Everybody has to go ups and downs. No, but nobody waits. So instead of making
yeah,
excuses, if I put that energy in preparation, I might score better. So
yeah,
that is the philosophy I follow. To give it your all and have no regrets.
right. That's a lovely philosophy to follow. Right. Okay. Now let's get into uh, the journey with more specific details, right? So there are a lot of things which are rare about your journey. Okay.
Right.
Uh, a 730 on the first attempt, then a student not skipping a single concept file is the second thing. The third thing is to breeze through the cementing stages of all the subsections, be it verbal or quant, right? I've had students who've scored a say a 760, a 770, but I've still struggled in at least one subsection when it comes to cementing stages. But with you, I mean, I did not see a single blip in any cementing stages. When I say this, I also want to give a disclaimer to all the viewers out there that this doesn't mean that his journey was a smooth sail. We'll come to the blips, but let's go in a flow that can actually help you understand what was he going through when he was on the upper side of his journey, and then we go to the downside as well. So cementing stages we breeze through. What helped you in these cementing stages?
One of the things that helped me was going through the course meticulously. That
Right,
ensured that I covered each topic. Uh, there might be a difference. Just going breezing through cementing stage, it's not easy. The tests are not easy.
yeah,
But
yeah,
I would give this credit. I would give this credit to all of my past experiences. Like जब हम बचपन में स्कूल जाते थे, mom is like, give this Olympiad, give that Olympiad, give this exam and that exam.
right,
We feel very trapped. Ki, why do I have to give every exam? But it is
right,
that experience that enabled me to perform good in the thinking section. Those
right,
MCQs exams, it prepared me for today's exam. So you never know what you're doing
right,
right now might help you later on. So that helped me
yeah,
build an ability. But since I was doing MBBS, I was out of touch. for
Mm.
so many years, almost 6, 7 years. I was out of touch with maths. I was not doing
Right.
anything, but just following whatever the system was suggesting, going through each chapter. Okay, I need to revise this. Even if I don't need to learn it, I need to revise it. And then that helped me revise all the concepts so that I could
Mm.
think whatever I can in the cementing stages. And as
Right.
for verbal, whatever gaps the system identified me and trained me to fill in those gaps, so that during cementing stage, as e-GMAT philosophy states that there are stages. First you need to cement
Yeah.
yourself and then increase the accuracy and then manage the time. So the
Right.
first stage where I was viewing all the modules, that helped me fill in the gaps which I had so that I could perform so good in cementing. I think the part
Mm.
that I did not skip any of the modules helped
Yeah.
me not make mistakes in those cementing quizzes.
I think, yeah, what you said actually makes sense because uh, I think you understood that creating a strong foundation, however long it takes, will actually benefit you in the cementing stages. That is the second stage of your prep, and
Yes,
then eventually in your final test as well. Because I think you just mentioned about filling in all those gaps. You did not leave any stone unturned while creating that base, going through the foundation. Because during the onboarding session that we conduct for every new
correct.
joinee, we always specify that stage one, that is going through the course, it constitutes the time that you spend there constitutes 70% of the total time that you spend on the prep. So
That is
stage
true.
one, yeah, it needs 70%. So even if it takes you a little longer, that's okay. Go through the
That's
course with diligence, meticulously, fill in all those gaps. Then cementing becomes easy because if you skip on files in stage one, your cementing stage that usually can take you just 5 hours will end up taking 15, 20 hours, which did not happen with you because you invested that time in stage one, right?
I think more than hours, yes, that I agree. But I think more than hours, what happens cementing stage, we follow a wrong shortcut path or a wrong path, which is might be true in some situation, but might not. The same logic might not apply when a difficult question comes,
Right.
and that logic gets permanently drilled into your brain. If you don't follow these
Mm.
basic and directly into cementing, you will keep repeating those same mistakes even
Right.
after you keep reviewing those files. So it does not mean
Mm.
that you go to cementing, understand what your problem is, and then go back. It's actually the
Right.
other way around.
Right. Right. Coming to your verbal score, you started with a V27, right? And ended up with a
Yeah,
V39,
right.
right? So this is a good 12-point improvement, right? And we just discussed a few reasons that actually propelled you to scale this improvement, right? Let us break this down and
Right.
enter every subsection. Let us not start with SC because we'll discuss about that a little later. Let's speak about
Sure.
CR first, right? What
Right.
helped you ace CR?
CR, like I said during my foundation time, I was good with thinking. However, the pattern in which GMAT asks the question, they give a extract, they ask you what is a strengthener is, what is a weakener is. Even though I have the ability to think, okay, this is right, this is wrong, there
Mhm.
is a specific way which it needs to be answered. I think
Right,
e-GMAT gave me those in terms of pre-thinking, in terms
right,
of frameworks like strengthener framework, weakener framework,
right,
and evaluator framework. What
right,
exactly is the question asking? Because
right.
the wordings can be tricky. Initially, when
Mm,
I answered question, I was making mistake. I was thinking in the
mm,
right direction, but I was not understanding question, and I ended up making mistake between what was the correct choice and what was very close to the correct choice.
right,
There is a very subtle difference, and this difference you can appreciate it when you apply these techniques like pre-thinking frameworks. Once I learned it from the platform, it became very easy for me to differentiate between those options.
right,
So that helped me improve a lot in CR.
right. And what about RC? What kind of reading strategies help you do really well on these RC passages? Because I saw it was it was coming really easy, for you, the RC section.
I, I I am a voracious reader, and especially in medical, you have to read this many books. So you become
Yeah,
trained to understand, okay, what is the author trying to say at the same
right,
time. But Even so, the passages in e-GMAT, they are a little different. You have to extract meanings, you have to take out points, you have to see details. So
Right.
while it is like you can prepare a meal, you can do step one, make roti, then sabji, and then if you go haphazardly, it might take you 2 hours to do it.
Hmm.
But you don't have 2 hours in GMAT. So what
Right.
e-GMAT, it systematizes the process. It tells you, okay,
Right.
first you do this, then do this, then do this, then do this. Having that system saves time, and it makes sure that you cover every aspect of the thing. You do not miss out. It's like a checklist. Okay,
Ah.
you have done with the outcome. You have evaluated passage. You have evaluated what
Right.
details are required. Things like that. So that helped me save time. So even though if I was good in RC, I could save time because of e-GMAT, and I could dedicate those time to sections like SC and CR.
Right.
That definitely helped me.
So I think RC was more of a combination of your own reading skills from the past
Yeah.
and that structured approach that maybe EGMAT provided, a combination of
Yes,
these to
definitely.
help you ace RC as well. Right,
Yes.
right. So your verbal improvement was absolutely amazing. But I think you just mentioned that you were away from mathematics for a long
Yeah.
time, right?
Right.
So did you face any difficulties getting in touch with mathematics? And if you face any issues, how did Quant Basics help you? The module that we have on the platform.
Quant basics helped me revise all those topics in the limits of what is required. Maths is a very vast subject. I
Hmm.
mean, you can go from calculus, you can go to permutation combination. There can be very
Yeah.
complex question in permutation combination as well. But um, you never know what is the scope of that exam. The exam scope mentioned in the official website, it only states, okay, these are the topics, but in what depth are they required, we don't know.
Hmm.
What
Yeah.
e-GMAT helped me achieve was revise those concepts in that timely manner. Okay, this concept needs to be done only till that, and made me ensure that I'm not going overboard. Like
Right.
even with numbers, there are so many concepts. Okay, real numbers, irrational numbers, imaginary numbers. I can keep studying on and on and on, but I don't know when to put a full stop. One of the best thing that
Ah.
e-GMAT had was it defined that scope of what I need to study and how do I need to study. And by making the quant basic course, it made sure that I revised all of the basics. I do not skip anything. So when I go to a particular subsection, I know my basics. I know what they're talking
Yeah.
about. At the same time, it simplified processes. Like while I was learning calculus in 10th standard or 11th standard, I the approach was quite different. It was an
Hmm.
approach to solve a question.
Yeah.
While in e-GMAT, the approach was to find the right answer among the five
Right.
choices. So not necessarily you have to solve the whole question, go through it, but
Yeah.
having a knowing how to go through it, you can pretty much predict, okay, this will be the answer, and so this will be the answer. So
Right.
all those basics really helped me cover and revise my quant.
You just mentioned about Quant being a vast course, right? It's
Right.
almost a, I think just going through the course, the entire course, right? Those five subsections, I think it takes you around 160, 170 odd hours. And I
Yeah.
saw that you saved around 30 plus hours using the Quant 2.0 version, which is Pace AI enabled.
Yes.
Just take us through that.
Yes.
How did that help you?
It helped me because while I was preparing, I was also doing my internship. An internship in medical college,
Hmm.
it's hectic. You don't really
Right.
have time. You can sit down and watch it at very continuous paces. It's not I can sit in OPD, watch video, and at the same time prescribe
Yeah.
drugs. It's complicated. What
Right.
this space system helped me, enabled me was we had a diagnostic quiz in the starting. I used to take that quiz. It used to evaluate, okay, these are my weak areas, these are my strong areas. Even if I don't revise, I know the concepts. It's okay.
Right.
Even if I don't revise, it's okay. But these concepts, even if you know, you should revise it because there are some gaps. That
Right.
particular system helped me going to go directly to that subject or to that particular matter where I was falling and
Hmm.
improve that. And saving that time helped me because I could achieve my goal in a limited time. I did not have to
Yeah.
stretch. my schedule, okay, I have long hours of study, I need to cover this up. But saving 30 hours is also a very big deal when you are preparing while you're working. That
Yeah,
definitely helps.
right. So up till here, I always saw that you were like doing really well on the cementing stage, like I said before, right? But in my experience, and I'm sure you would agree with this, the most challenging phase hasn't come yet, right?
Yeah,
It's
I agree.
always after the cementing stage when you enter that last mile, when you need that one last stride, that one last sprint to just go over the line. And that's when
Yes.
I think we offered you the last mile push program. You signed
Yeah.
up for it. Just take us through that last mile push journey. And so, how did it help you, and what were those factors in the LMP that actually help you push yourself in those last few days?
I would say that there were multiple fronts where LMP helped me. Starting
Mm,
with academic, let's say, it helped me because up till cementing quizzes, I was solving each subsection differently. I was
great.
like, okay, geometry, I need to do this, I need to do this. But in exam, it does not come as separate section. It comes as a
Yeah,
whole.
yeah,
So learning how to combine all those subjects into one single ability to score higher, you
right.
need a different approach.
True.
What you have used till cementing stage, it is true, it improves your ability. But for the exam, the time management, when to skip a question, when to answer a question, when to take a fluke or something, like all these
Yeah,
things, they require assistance. It's not easy.
the test
So
taking
in that
skills.
yes, the test taking skills, the time management, it helps. On a, at the same time, just having somebody who knows what to do. I while taking the test for the first time, I had no idea what I was supposed to expect out of the test.
Right.
When I go there, what was supposed to happen, and if I'm making mistake, since I am taking it for the first time, I don't know what mistakes I'm committing. I can see only the low score. Okay, I'm scoring low here, but
Mm,
what to do about it, how to improve. Having a
right.
dedicated person, a mentor, having you with me, it gave me a confidence at emotional level also and at a mental level also, that okay, I have somebody with me who knows what to do. If I am going
Yeah.
wrong, he knows I'm going wrong and he will point me in the right direction.
Mm,
Having that stability in my mind, it is a huge advantage when I'm preparing, because I don't have to think about, I don't have to doubt myself. Okay, am I doing it right? Am I doing it wrong? Am I doing it right?
yeah.
I know for sure. Okay, I'm doing it right. Whatever will happen good. I'm following a system.
Right.
It will happen. That was one of the best things that LMP gave me, having that support.
Correct.
And
It
taking
actually frees you
having somebody,
from. Yeah. Please go ahead.
it saves time for me to go in depth and analyze each and every, spend
I was coming to
minutes
that.
and hours on the, or hours on that, what have I done and what should I do next, and
Yeah.
planning phase, and going on to the trial and error. Because if I try something, it does not work out, I come back to square one, and that would waste my time. So
Absolutely.
not having to waste that time also saved me a lot of work and mental efforts, which I could dedicate into preparation.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. That was exactly what I was coming to. So your mind was left free to just focus on the things that you were supposed to do instead of finding
Yes,
what was going wrong and why was it going wrong, because you had one person doing it for you, right? Because who,
yes,
like for example, it was me in your case. So the mentor has walked that journey with a lot of students already,
yes,
and so
yes.
his experience is not just his experience; it's his
It's an
experience
experience of all.
multiplied by all other students that he's guided there, right?
Right.
So I
Correct,
think
correct.
that completely helped. And what I liked about you Raghav,
Yeah.
when you are looking for an assistance from something, from an object or from a mentor or a guide or a human, it's very important to surrender, right?
Yeah.
Which
I,
very few people understand. That's the basis, right,
I
of becoming
I
a
totally
student.
agree with it.
You always surrendered.
Yeah.
I never heard from you that that made me feel that okay, Raghav means to say that he knows more about things. You were always open to feedback. You were always open to unlearn and then learn. So I think that that surrendering yourself to everything that was being recommended, I think that also played a key role in you becoming successful. That's a rare quality once again.
I, I totally agree, because being open to feedback and open to learning new things is
Yeah,
the two most important things that can help you achieve what you want, and go to the stage where you can stand up and say that yes, I achieved this. Because if you can't do that, it's just you, there is no point in doing the same mistakes again and again. Because if you
yeah,
don't listen to feedbacks, you will repeat all those same mistakes again in the
yeah,
exam. So I think those are the two most important things that you can do while in the last few days of the exam.
yeah. So, so, so now, so far, it's been a rosy picture for everyone. Right? Let's come to this last phase when there were still some struggles that you were going through, and I was there, witnessing all of that and trying to help you out. SC, you breezed through cementing, but you were still struggling till the last few days with SC. I want
Yeah.
you to just take every one of us, okay, all of us, through what was going in your mind, because the D day was approaching and there was still this one little hurdle that you were struggling to cross. What did you
Yeah.
do mentally to pep yourself, and how did you come out of this?
Right after the exam, I was pretty sure, okay, I'm doing great in all subsections, including sentence correction. Then
Mm.
we started doing mocks. The
Right,
first mock, I was okay with SC. Okay, I scored a little low, but I had reasons. Like, okay, second mock I attempted in the ideal conditions, but to a
right,
surprise, my SC score fell lower.
right.
At that point, I entered into a vicious cycle. Okay, my SC
Mm.
score is lower. I started taking tension. What is going
Yeah,
wrong? What is going wrong? I have to improve. And the biggest mistake I did, that I was taking quizzes again and again, trying to figure out, okay, something is wrong. I might have messed up in the
yeah,
last quiz. I started making excuses like that. I did that for, I think, 5, 7 days before I actually realized, okay, this is not working.
yeah,
We both were trying to figure out what was this. You offered me help that, okay, we should consult a subject master.
yeah,
So you asked me to solve question and send it to that. It was during that recording, when I was recording, I realized that I was not actually thinking. In the last seven
yeah.
days, I was not thinking. I was simply panicking while
Right,
solving. As soon as I saw, okay, it's an essay question, I have to get it correct. I have to get it correct. That was the only thought
right,
that was going on in my mind. I was not applying any of the basics that was happening. I even
right.
went through the SE modules multiple times, 2, 3 times of modifiers and things like that,
Mm.
and I still couldn't figure out. After I sent you that video, I realized, okay, I am doing something wrong, which is that I'm not doing anything. I am only panicking. So let's start
Yeah,
with the basics again. That is the point where I opened my master comprehension course, which is the basics for all the verbal sections, and
right.
I went through it, and I realized right in the second or third module that there was very one basic simple rule. Meaning based approach includes it, that you have to first think what is logical and what is not. You
Mm.
have to break down these sentences, you have to deconstruct the sentence and
Yeah,
reconstruct that sentence. It was that particular module I realized I'm not applying one of the basic, I'm just rushing through it.
mm.
And I realized it. I texted you the next day, okay, I think this is the problem.
Right,
And at the same time, the mentor also, the subject matter master also gave us the same review, that I'm rushing through it, I'm not
right.
understanding, and I'm not trying to find the solution. That was a turning point, but it was really panicking. Up till that point, I was terrified because my SC ability had dropped almost to 30% accuracy, which
Yeah,
is,
I remember.
even in medium questions, I was scoring so low, and it was a severe trauma to me, and uh, it was very bad phase at that time. I was like, should I postpone the exam? Should I give it or not? What will I do? But
Yeah,
once I found, okay, this was a mistake, we started working together. You assigned me
yeah,
quizzes and courses. Okay, you do this, do that. And within 2, 3 days, I was back to my what I wanted, back to my initial
Yeah.
score. Surprisingly, I scored 88 percentile in sentence correction in the end,
Yeah.
in the final exam. I was very happy with it, okay.
Yeah.
But it was terrifying journey, and nothing. This story is a perfect example why you should focus on your basics. If anything is
Mm.
going wrong, you should recheck your basics before thinking about advanced topics. Most
Yeah.
Many of the times it is the basics which are in trouble rather than your advanced applications.
This is what we do with appliances as well. The most basic thing is to
Yeah,
restart the appliance.
restart the
Go
appliance.
back to
I
the
agree.
basics. Because you know what, with you with this last phase, I very vividly remember this. Okay, now my objective of asking you to record a video and speak up your mind while you were solving the questions was so that I could forward that video to the SME and then the SME could give us a feedback. But with this little exercise, I learned one more thing. I learned that this
Yeah,
exercise also helps the student himself, like someone who's like you, who's self-aware, who's conscious. Okay, this helps a student also understand even before the SME intervenes that okay, this is where I was going wrong. So I
yeah,
remember you sending me an email even before I could forward that video to the SME. And you know what, Dhruv? I've understood where I'm going wrong, and I've revisited the master comprehension, and I figured out that this is the step I was missing, and I've started doing it
yeah.
now. Although it is taking me a little more time right now, but I think if I keep practicing, I'll lower the time. And that's what I think you did in the last few days. And the result was 88
Yes,
percentile.
yes. Absolutely true. Initially, when once I recovered from that phase, it used to
Ah,
take me a lot much time for the sentence correction. I used in the last or last second mock, I ran out of time because I was spending so much time on sentence correction.
yeah.
But over the time, more practice. Once I had my technique down, practice made me perfect questions.
Mm.
But yeah, it did the trick.
Yeah. And what I would like to summarize this is in a way it would be that it was your wisdom to go back to the drawing board, go back to the basics, right? That actually helped you come
Yeah.
out of this difficult phase. Because this was actually going to be the make or break phase, because it was happening right
Yes.
at the end when you needed a lot of
Um,
confidence and positivity.
yes. It was like 1.5 or 2 weeks before my exam. It was on
Yeah,
2nd Feb, and this was happening around 18, 19 January.
January.
Yes.
I know. Yeah, so this will make people realize that when you see someone standing on the peak of the mountain, all you see is the front good part. You don't know all the knives and the
Yeah.
stones that this person has on the back,
Listen, yeah.
right? Success never comes easy.
Yes. It never comes easy.
Yeah,
It might look easy, but it doesn't.
it isn't. But it certainly comes to people like you who stay calm, who believe in themselves, who surrender to learning, right? So this is certainly going to
Yeah.
be inspirational, right? Okay, so this was a bit about your journey with us, but I'm sure it's not just what you do uh, on the e-GMAT platform, but it's also about what you do off it. Like in sports, it's not about only
Yeah.
what you do on the field, it's also what
Yes.
you do off the field.
Off the
I'm
field.
sure
You're
off
right.
the field you must have had some cheerleaders like your parents, like your friends. What role did they play
Yes.
in your success?
One of the most important role that anybody can play is to support you by saying that whatever will happen, it will be the best. And
Yeah,
this exam is not bigger than your life. So ज्यादा से ज्यादा क्या होगा, नहीं आएगा स्कोर, वापस से
yeah,
दे देना, पैसे ही भरना पड़ेगा ना, फाइन.
yeah.
That is the line I clearly remember my dad telling me when I was going through the HC phase, and that gave me the boost. Okay, okay, it's an exam. Let's just give all of it instead of panicking and doing worthless stuff. Let's give it what I can, and okay. At the most, I'll have to go back to the square one. I'll have to prepare again and give that exam again. But I
Mm,
have support, and having that support is one of the best things that you can have.
Yeah.
And like you mentioned, there is on field and off field. One of the basic things that you should do while your preparation is don't stick only to studying,
Yeah.
because your brain is not something of a machine that you can
Yeah.
switch on and switch off, switch on and switch off. It needs refreshing. And
Yeah.
while I was doing my work and it was a hectic thing, I'm thankful that I had work at that time, because without work, just going all the day about preparation, it would
Mm.
jam my mind, because
Yeah.
as the next day again I have to sit and study the same thing. I have to do the same coursework. It's nothing new. So your
Mm.
brain needs a change. So while you might take a break for 2 or 3 days, do not skip work, do not skip your routine schedule. Have something, a daily activity that you can do every day. That is
Right.
that is a very basic thing I would say to anybody who's aspiring to take a GMAT. Because studying all
Mm.
day, we had this phase, studying all day. I don't remember the phase.
All study and no
Play
play.
all day. Make Jack
Jack a dull boy.
dull boy. Yeah, something like that. So you need to have both of it. It's not you that you can study, you can cramp up 10 hours of studying for GMAT and ace the exam next day. It is a continuous process and it cannot happen like that. You have to be regular as you can. And it's not what 12 hours or 14 hours in a day of study can do. It's more like 4 hours every day can do for what you
Yeah.
can do and achieve your goal.
The consistency.
Consistency is the most important part.
So Raghav, just in short, just help us understand how would a normal day in Raghav's life would look like, wherein you were balancing your work, your internship, and your prep. How would it look like?
My day would start early in the morning. At 3:30 a.m., I would wake up, get ready,
Hmm.
and I would come to the college. And we have a 24-hour reading room where we can sit and study. I used to sit there, start my studies at around 4:15, 4:30 max,
Hmm.
and sit there and study till 8 in the morning.
Hmm.
3 4 hours, whatever I can do. It can include researching on what exam preps means. It can include, okay, what more resources do I need. It can include analyzing your test, whatever you have done yesterday. It can
Right.
include planning, okay, what I'm supposed to do today. It can
Right.
be anything which is related to that, not necessarily coursework or tests. At
Mm.
8 I used to take a break and go to my work internship by 11 12 sometimes, or by 3 or 4 in the evening, depending on how hectic the day is. I used to get free. If I used to get free earlier, I made sure that I went into the nature. There was a park nearby. I used to go
Right.
there and offload whatever thoughts in my mind are at that time, and keep my mobile at one side and not attend to it anything, so that I can have my peace of mind. Having that
Yeah.
half an hour to 1 hour of peace of mind really made difference when I sat again in the for the afternoon or evening session, because
Right.
I had a calm mind which could understand what I'm trying to study, instead of a
Mm.
very haphazard
Cluttered
mind.
mind.
Okay, this is
Yeah.
running, cluttered mind. Things do not go in your cluttered mind. So
Yeah.
I used to take longer walks if I had time. If not, I still made sure that I had an hour of clearing mind session where I can
Mm.
just clear off my mind with no inputs,
Right.
no inputs whatsoever from calls or from anything. And by around 5 or 6, normally I used to sit down again, study till
Hmm.
8 in the evening, and then head back home and sleep early. Go to bed by 9 9:30 so that I can have a fresh day again tomorrow.
Right. Right. So I see that you actually were able to strike a balance between work, between your studies, between finding out some time for yourself, uh, some break in between to just help relax your mind. I think this is something that a lot of students will take away from what you just said.
But do not think that you will find that and strike this balance the day you start. It took me
Yeah.
almost 20 days before I could actually see, okay, this is working for me. I tried various combinations. I tried
Mm.
waking up late and studying late night, did not work. I tried
Right.
taking leave. I even tried skipping my work. Okay, I'm not coming for 3 days and studying. Even that did not work. So it took me
Right.
good amount, 20. 20-25 days before I could finally figure out, okay, this is working for me and let's continue with this.
You're
So
right.
initial 20 days, please experiment as much as you want. Okay, this is not
Mm,
working, that is not working, but settle down on something and keep that schedule going.
you're right. This
That
makes sense.
schedule, that habit disciplines your brain and helps you study and helps you score better than anybody else following the same number of amount of work. If you're
Right.
considering then get 6 hours a day if you're studying, but how you divide your day, how you manage it, and how consistent about the same studying as you are
Mm,
matters. It does make a difference. It's not something which is theoretical, it is actually practical.
yeah. No, no, this is absolutely makes sense. Right. So now that you're done with GMAT, I'm sure you must be having a good time now since the last few days. How do you plan to
Yeah.
apply? Where do you plan to apply? What about the next steps?
My next steps include, I'm still technically I'm an undergraduate, so I'm still eligible for deferral. So I plan to apply to deferral universities. I plan to apply to the T15, and especially Dartmouth, and especially Darden University. These are the two universities that I am hoping I could get an admission. There are obviously M7. I would be applying 2 or 3 M7 schools, which include Stanford, Howard, Wharton. These schools I'll still try, although I don't know if I'll make it or not, but I think I should try. And I'm applications are a lengthy process, so
Yeah.
I realized I need to dedicate at least 2 or 3 days for each application. So I've noted down, I researched on which institutes are, what are the deadlines for each institute, and made a
Hmm.
timetable accordingly. Okay, I need to finish this application by this time and this application by this time, and
Right.
I'm working accordingly.
Right. And what specialization are you looking to get an MBA done in?
I'm looking to get an MBA in healthcare. Like I already have a MBBS background, and what
Right.
I aim to do is innovate the healthcare industry.
Hmm.
So MBA in healthcare would be the best plan, the best specialization, I think, because eventually I will end up in healthcare, and I
Right.
want to change the system that India has. That is my
Right.
vision that I really want to do. So
Okay.
I want to do healthcare. Yeah.
So after you finish your MBA, you plan to come back to India and then maybe work in India and
Yes, I
fulfill your
plan to
dreams,
gain
right?
some experience abroad. I plan
Okay.
to see how multinational companies work, how US is implementing their system of taking care of everybody, and what components of their healthcare system can we bring in here. I want to
Yeah.
experience
Right.
it all over the world. What are the merits of various system, and what all
Right.
can be imported and made a best system which can be applicable in our setting. Since I'm doing it from a government medical college, I already know our system inside out, our
Hmm.
public healthcare system.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that would be a very good part in, but yes, I eventually want to come back to India and implement it.
Wow. That sounds great. And I wish you all the best for all the next steps that you take. Right. And
And
feel free to reach out to us in case you need any help in any of these next steps.
definitely, yes, thank you so much. Thank you for helping me through my journey. Had you not been there, I don't know if I would have been able to score this high. So thank you very much.
It's an absolute pleasure, Raghav. It's been a pleasure to know someone like you, who's so ambitious, who's so humble, despite all the ups and downs you've gone through at a very young age in this journey. One thing that has been constant has been your humility and your drive to do something in the healthcare industry for our country. Right. So I wish you all the best, Raghav. It's been a pleasure knowing you. It's
Thank you
been a
so much.
pleasure having you here today. And thank you so much for making some time and then being a part of this interview. This is going to be inspirational.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. It was a pleasure.
Thank you so much, Raghav. With this, we come to the end of our session. I hope you all had a great time. All the best to everyone who's watching this interview. Take care.